there's this like glamorization of being a landlord. I like to use the word investor. There's this glamorization of it. There is nothing glamorous about this at all. And you're going to be managing your own property depending on your ROI. There's nothing glamorous about a 3 a.m. phone call that the toilet has blown up. That there's no glamour in that. So I find that we need to remove all these labels and, all of the things that are floating around right now in social media and get back to the basics. Why is it that you want to do this?
Welcome to the Real Estate Pros Show, where we interview real estate investing professionals from coast to coast, as well as the service providers that serve the real estate investing industry. Our goal is simple: share what's working now to help you improve and scale your business to the next level and meet the pros that can help you get there. Real Estate Pros is powered by Investor Fuel, America's leader in helping real estate investors and professionals build the business you need to live the life you've always dreamed of. Let's start today's show. Property insurance for real estate investors doesn't have to be difficult, but it does need to be there to protect you when you need it. MyInvestorInsurance.com not only provides insurance at 15 to 30% cheaper than traditional agencies, it's built specifically for real estate investors like you. You can set up an account in about 2 minutes, get quotes on properties, turn on and turn off insurance for your fix and flip or rental properties in around 2 minutes without having to talk to anyone directly, all through our portal. There's no better way or faster way to make sure you've got the coverage you need to protect you, and no more lengthy policies either. Once you're set up, you're billed monthly and prorated by the day for however long your policy is active. It's powered by MSI, the third largest independent MGA, with 1.5 million customers and more than $1 billion in cumulative premiums written. Get set up today in about 2 minutes at myinvestorinsurance.com/fuel.
Hey everyone, welcome to the Real Estate Pros Podcast. I'm your host, Micah Johnson, and today I'm joined by Natasha, who's been making some serious moves in real estate for quite some time now. Natasha, welcome in. Glad to have you.
Thank you so much for having me. It's my pleasure, Micah.
Absolutely, absolutely. I'm excited about our talk today. I think our listeners are really going to take some value away from how you approach real estate and the way you're just going about making sure you're building the business that you want in this industry and working with the right people. So let's dive in on that. For folks who may not know you yet, what's your main focus right now and what markets are you operating in?
So we operate out of 3 provinces in Canada: Ontario, New Brunswick, and Alberta. My main focus is obviously continuing the trajectory of our investing. We would like to branch into international markets. This has been something I've been working on since 2020. Unfortunately, there were some world events that took place, which put a little lid on that. And we've hit a few rough spots along the way, which have deterred that. However, I'm hoping that in 2026, we can begin to enter that market. And I say we because I own my own properties, but I also work with passive and angel investors on other properties.
What's the property type that you're predominantly investing in?
So normally we invest in duplexes, triplexes, quads. Very rarely will I get into a single family, only because I believe that you should never be without income coming in. And if you have a single family and it's vacant, then you got to look for a tenant. So, for that short while or long while, whatever it could be, there's no cash flow. So I prefer multi-unit projects as opposed to single family. If it was a good project, I might entertain it, but I prefer multifamilies, as well as I've done some private lending. We invest in REITs as well. Those are always excellent. Once they mature, we usually throw the money back in to continue investing in a different project or the same project that's expanding.
Sure. Love that. One thing about real estate is knowing the kind you want to do. And that's the beauty of it. It's a big umbrella, doing it how you want to do it, finding that strategy that works for you, makes your investors that work with you comfortable, knowing, all right, we're actually going to get this done. So that's powerful. So you mentioned branching into some international markets. Are there particular ones you got your eyes on right now?
Stop living on an island and join the #1 mastermind in America for professional real estate investors. Investor Fuel is a community of hundreds of the nation's top investors working together to build stronger businesses and better lives. In addition to the amazing community of real estate investors acting as a board of advisors for one another, Investor Fuel members have access to 100% funding on purchase and repairs for our members only, a health insurance program, and benefits and discounts that more than pays for the membership of most of our members, meaning it's actually costing you money to not be a member of Investor Fuel. If you're looking to scale your business and build a business that allows you to live the life of your dreams, please visit investorfuel.com today and book a call with our team.
Yeah, actually, I've had my eye big time on Georgia, not Georgia, US, but Georgia in the Caucasus. I've had my eye on them for a long time. They have a really low entry, and then the payment plan is excellent. So I've had my eye on that for a long time. Of course, I'm always watching political situations first before doing any type of investing, as well as the US. The US is my neighbor. It's my neighbor. It's right next door. And I know there are wonderful opportunities that I'm always looking at and looking for, listening to other investors and trying to see where and what would be the best fit for me, as well as, of course, like most investors, we all have our eye on the UAE, things that are happening, the UAE, Saudi, Qatar, Oman, Bahrain, any area of the Middle East. There's a lot of investors investing there, and it's super easy to enter the market, and the payment plans are bare minimum. So I keep my eyes. Basically, those are my top three. Of course, Turkey is on my list. I always look at Turkey to see what's available, what projects have been completed, what does that look like, especially for foreign investors.
What's someone that would be interested in investing internationally like that? Where's a good starting place? What do you need to, like, what questions do you need to get answered for yourself to know, hey, how do you actually do this? 'Cause I believe education's the main main part of real
Number
estate that you
one.
need to participate in, and it never stops. Like, if you need to be a lifelong learner in this industry because it's always shifting and changing. So for someone looking in that direction, what's something they should keep their eye on or make sure that they know for sure?
Well, stability is always number one. You don't want to put your money somewhere and then, oops, there's, say, political unrest, because your money's going to be gone no matter what. So I always say look for what's happening politically, and then you need to do your homework. What is it that you want to do with that property? Is it buy hold? Is it Airbnb? Is it lease? A long-term lease. What is it that you want to do? Because you're not on the ground, so you have to put a lot of faith in other people who are in charge of your asset. And that makes a lot of investors very uncomfortable if they haven't been doing it and if they don't know what they're doing or where they want to do it. So I would say the best thing to do is answer these critical questions. And then from that point, try to get into groups or follow podcasts or people who are investing in those countries and reach out to them and see what they have done and how they are doing it and see if it's a comfortable fit for yourself. And if it's not, and especially if you're a new investor, I definitely wouldn't say to, start looking internationally, because you may never go there. So you need to know what is your strategy that you want with this property. And secondly, if you are a new investor, start local, first of all, and do your homework. You need to educate yourself no matter where you're going to put your money. You need to educate yourself because we work very hard for that money. So the most important thing is to know what is it that you want to do, especially in the beginning for first-time landlords. I find, especially right now, Mika, that there's this like glamorization of being a landlord. I like to use the word investor of being an investor. There's this glamorization of it. There is nothing glamorous about this at all. And you're going to be managing your own property depending on your ROI. You may be managing your own property. There's nothing glamorous about a 3 a.m. phone call that the toilet has blown up. That there's no glamour in that. So I find that We need to remove all these labels and, all of the things that are floating around right now in social media and get back to the basics. Why is it that you want to do this? What is it that you want to do with it? And how do you want to scale yourself? And what is your projection long term? You just want to buy one property for your kids, for yourself, something you want to buy and sell. What is it that you want to do, or do you want to grow? And I suggest always you should grow very slowly and take your time as you're educating yourself to become more familiar, because laws are always changing. We know that interest rates are fluctuating. And if you do want to go international, you really need to educate yourself on where you're going. And you should probably visit that country and visit job sites and completed projects of whatever developer it is that you want to invest with.
If you're looking for consistent, high-quality leads, look no further than Investor Machine. Investor Machine isn't just another agency, it's the most sophisticated, data-driven lead generation company on the planet for real estate investors, and serves the role of being not just a lead generator for your business, but a marketing partner that is helping you achieve your goals along the way. Go to investormachine.com to learn more and schedule a call with our team today.
And that makes sense. And a lot of times it's the same. It's really the same advice for what you're going to do locally. But in my mind, I'm thinking
Yeah.
about it versus going to get your undergrad degree versus your master's degree and
Yeah,
PhD, right? Like
that's it.
that's there's some things that are basic to the industry itself, and then there are others that are completely nuanced to their location. Making sure you got
Mhm.
that ground floor built in there, and it's already stressful, right? Like it's that's something a lot of folks don't understand until they get out there and do it, that an
Mhm.
entrepreneur with a smile on their face doesn't mean they're not got a little stress inside. There's a little bit of it going on. They just might handle it better because
Yeah.
there's you are risking things. You are dealing with other people. There's someone living in your house, right? Like, and you can't
Mhm.
control everything about it. There's difference,
Mhm.
and there's always going to be something that's going to happen. You're never going to have a whole career in it and not have the horror story. It's just part of it. So, like, if you're wishing to not have that, uh, start like you were saying, meet people and talk to people who've gone through it. Because what you'll find is, one, you're usually making it bigger than it is 99% of the time. Once someone
Yes.
shows you this is all you got to do. This is what you have to do. This is the part that's got to fix it. And a part you were leaning into, I think, is important there is you're really mentioning you're building your team is what you're doing. You are getting out there and putting people in your corner and in your tool belt because nobody can close a real estate deal alone. Nobody
Oh,
works
no,
all the
absolutely
jobs that
not.
are connected to doing it, right? Like there's
That's
so
right.
many people involved in closing a deal that if you don't start by just meeting people, you're never gonna close a deal. You're gonna get stuck in so many parts of the process,
Mhm.
and if you don't even know where to turn, then you're gonna get frustrated, and that could lead you to leaving the industry, and like you were saying a second ago, when you know what you're trying to do and why you're trying to do it, don't let something silly keep you and your family from the life that you were always hoping for. Like, take the time to learn. Get there was a I can't remember who said this on a podcast I listened to recently, but however long you're planning to do something, use a quarter of the amount of time studying it. Make sure you're learning. If you're going on a 1 year vacation, study where you want to go for 4 months. Don't just leave town and hope. Like, what are you actually going to go do? Think about it, put a plan together. And I think a lot of entrepreneurs don't feel like they're doing anything until they're making offers. But I really try to encourage them. Every conversation that you have, that's part of the process. Every person you can go meet, that's part of the process. And the buying a house is here. There's like 35 steps before the part where you actually get the house, and you got to do all those. You don't get to skip.
The house is the easy part.
Right.
That's the easy part. Anybody can buy a house. That's the easy part. It's everything else that is extremely tedious and difficult and litigious. And we, yourself and myself, we live in very litigious societies. So you need a team because things can go very wrong and can cost you a lot of money. And it has happened to me, not once, but many times, when you think that you know, but you don't know. And you think you can close, but it's a holiday and nothing's open and you're trying to fax something and you miss that deadline by a few minutes and now you're charged that fee because it's in the contract and you missed the deadline. So there are many areas that we are unaware of because it's something we've never done before. We're doing it. I mean, yourself and myself, now we have a lot of skin in the game. It's different. But for a new landlord, without a proper team and proper consultation, you will make a lot of mistakes that can cost a lot of money. And Micah, I've actually bought in 3 houses off of 2 different distressed landlords that were like, just take this, get it off my hands. I can't do this no more. And you
It's quite
cannot let it
popular.
get to that point. And it happens. People do get to that point because we're only human. And you become very stressed out. You've got a lot of money invested. And, you may have a tenant who's gone rogue, or you may have bought a dilapidated property, but there were some things that you didn't know and you took the walls down. Oh,
If you're a new or newer real estate investor looking to launch or grow your real estate investing business, please check out Investor Fuel Club. It's a coaching community, but unlike anything you've ever seen before. And you can actually partner with members of our mastermind from coast to coast on deals right in your market. There's no better opportunity to build a consistent business than to literally partner with pros to help you avoid costly mistakes, avoid the need for capital to do deals, and help you eliminate your fears as you're starting your business. Learn more about Investor Fuel Club at investorfuel.com/club.
there's mold in the walls, there's asbestos. Nobody's told you that. So there's so many different moving parts. And as you said, we're investors. There's always this like cloud of rumination behind us of all these things that are going on. But you see us and we're like, hey, how are you? How's the day going? You want to get a coffee? Even though, in our heads, it's like all these things that are roaming that have to get done. So I would suggest that individuals be prepared for that if that's what they want.
Agree. I liken it to when people used to ask me after my daughter was born, like, what's it like to be a dad? First off, I tell them, well, it's extremely hard. Teaches you how selfish you are. You want to see like all the bad things about yourself? Become a parent. Let the light get shown on you and go through
That's
this.
right.
However, I wouldn't change it for the world. And who it forces you to become, what it makes you do, right? Like it really challenges you in some deep spots, but I'm not going to sugarcoat it for you. It's great and it's hard. And that's okay. And one thing I teach my kids now, hard equals good. Everything you want's on the other side of hard. Everything. And if you're going to let that part not let you get there, you're really not going to get anywhere. You have some different issues
Mm-hmm.
that you're going to have to deal with before then.
Mm-hmm.
Because like you said, one of my favorite quotes I've learned in the entrepreneur world is by Virginia Satir. Most people prefer the certainty of misery to the misery of uncertainty. And
That's a
entrepreneurs
good
seem to
one.
live well with the misery of uncertainty. That's why we can handle
Oh,
the
yes.
stress and the gap because we're okay with it. That's
Mm-hmm.
the secret. It's okay. It might be going wrong. It might not be going how I hope right now, but that doesn't mean it's not okay. It just means I have
Mm-hmm.
this problem to solve. It's not about me. It's not personal. It's just part of what I've chosen to do. Actually, this is a book I highly recommend that taught me a lot about that. I'm not going to read it out loud on
Oh,
the thing,
yes.
but this book right
Yes.
here,
Excellent.
he talks about that. Like, no matter what you choose, you're choosing the hard parts of it too. So choose your hard, choose it, or it doesn't matter. Everything's hard. Pick the hard you want to experience. And
That's
that
right.
was really really helpful in the beginning because it it's easy to just want it to be easy. And especially in the
Oh,
social
with
media
everything.
world that we see, right? Everything you see, this is how you do it. It's so easy. Nothing ever happens. And it's just not that way. It is not that way. Whether it's your
Mm-mm.
first deal goes great, doesn't matter. If you stay in the game long enough, you're going to start to experience these hiccups where, again, it challenges you. What kind of person are you? How do you handle hard? How do you handle questions? How do you handle going to sleep not knowing? Right? You got to be able to sleep at night with that uncertainty just fine. Like, okay, I'll figure it out when I figure it out. It'll finally get to me. And that was
Mhm.
a you don't come to those lessons cheap, Natasha, unfortunately. You gotta go through enough to kinda grow that thick skin, but that's what actually happens after a while is you're toughened up to it, you understand it, it's not unexpected anymore, right?
After, so many years, you expect it. You know it's coming and you plan for it. And then there are some uncertainties that happen, of course. There are some real, anomalies that take place, but those are few and far in between if you are doing your homework and you are relying on a team and you are listening to the feedback. We don't like it. It's uncomfortable. You don't want to hear someone tell you you're absolutely wrong. That's not how you do it. What have you done? You filled this paper out wrong. And that happens to me all the time, actually. And my paralegal, the legal team, they have to go in and correct everything. I have a huge team, and I also talk to and work with other investors, and I lean on people and I hire them because somebody once told me, you don't know everything. You need to hire people to do the things you don't know how to do because we're not a specialist at everything, and I'm a teacher by vocation. So I'm not a lawyer. I need a lawyer to help me, and I'm okay with that. And I'm comfortable paying for it because good help is not cheap, truthfully. And I don't see other investors as my competition. I don't see, other property managers because I also manage for international investors in my local area. I don't see them as my competition. A matter of fact, I give them work because I can only take on so much. I call it like my boutique project, managing for other international investors. I actually can't take on a large number of clients, even if I wanted to, because I have a very busy life with a lot of moving parts, moving pieces. And so I will give that work to others. And I see them as my peers, as my mentors, as teachers, especially some other property managers that I've worked with. They have a lot of skin in the game and a lot of knowledge, and they have helped me so much. And I always look to seek to help others too. And I always lead personally, for better or for worse, I always lead with the ugly so that they know, this could happen. You're buying a, multi-use project. Um, let's say the roof goes. Do you know how much is a tar roof? Can we talk about that? And people are very uncomfortable with the ugly. I know that. But I feel that my mentors have always led with the ugly and they
Same.
have given me the thickest of skins. So I feel that I like to give that as well so that we know what's coming. There's always the good days when you don't have any phone calls, you're out for
Right.
dinner, no one calls you. But there's a lot of days where you're out for dinner and you got to get up and leave. That's it. You're self managing a property. And right now, the snow, where I'm from, the snow is so bad that it took the shed down. And somebody's got to get there. And that somebody is you.
Right. It's coach I work with, he refers to that idea as allegiance capital. Whether you're telling somebody a bad thing or a good thing, telling somebody what they're fixing to experience, when they actually experience it, it has way less of an effect in terms of negative on them because they're like, oh, this is what was supposed to happen. Natasha said this would happen, so this is okay. And that is just a simple mindset shift like that is could be revolutionary to your business and your success in doing this because it's true. Just knowing that's why I'm big on mentors. I'm in that same
Mhm.
camp with you. Surround yourself with people if you if you're the coolest person you know, you need to get out more. That is my advice. Put people around you that know more than you, know different things than you, that can help you become the rounded person you have to be because you can't do this alone. Nobody does it alone. That's kind of the
Mm-mm.
big farce in the space is this self-made thing. Nobody self-made anything. If someone was doing it all by themselves the whole time, they would not get very far. They would just make mistake after mistake after mistake, maybe stay in the game. But the folks I know that are the highest level now, they learned from somebody. Someone took them under their wing and said, "Hey, you could avoid about 5 years of issues if you just do this instead of do that." Dang, thanks, appreciate that. And it's like, that's how we all learn and grow. And you nailed it. Get over being wrong. That's something I'm trying to teach my kids early right now is dad's wrong. Dad is wrong. He can get things wrong. It doesn't make it bad. It's okay. Adjust. If I didn't know I was wrong, I couldn't go learn. It's literally how I got to walk. Like if you're upset about getting things wrong, you never would have learned to walk. You'd still be pitching a fit laying on the floor somewhere, right?
Yeah. Yeah. D- it's I'm a teacher, right? So mistakes are welcomed. That's how we learn from making these mistakes. And nothing is done in a silo. Nothing ever. As you said, parenting, it's not done in a silo. Investing is definitely not done in a silo. You are calling the bank, you're calling your legal team, you're calling your insurance, and you're calling your realtor, other realtors, you know, you're working with other investors, you're talking with passive investors, you're going to meetups, to conferences, and all of these things combined lead you to where you want to be and to what it is you want to do. And that goes with every career, every idea, anything at all. When you go to the pool, you obviously need to learn how to swim first. And you do that through a teacher, through a coach, through a mentor, and somebody takes you there when you're small, your parents or your grandparents or your guardian, whomever. And so it's the same in real estate. And people can enter, and it's easier than some people think, and sometimes it's harder than some people imagined it would be. And like yourself, uh, a lot of my mentors have been what we would call old timers, and they're very rough around the edges, and they give it to me straight, like it or not. And I have learned to accept that feedback, and I've learned to not take things personally. I understand that I own a property right now that people live in. These are not just boxes on land. There are human beings that are living inside of them. Do I wanna live that way? If not, then I shouldn't let others live that way. And I take pride in my properties and ensuring that they are safe, that they are livable, and that the people who are living in them are aligned and that it's harmonious. And so I think that for a lot of us who are investors and who have properties, we are the affordable housing providers. That is who we are.
Right.
Although we get quite a bit of disrespect both in the United States and in Canada, there's this major black cloud around being an investor. And there have been some rotten apples. But I would say a lot of people are just trying to do the right thing and want to do the right thing for their tenants.
I would say it's the majority. The statistics in America, the number one investor in America is the mom and pop. They own 3 to 5 houses. That's the number one. And I have cold called and talked to people all over this country trying to buy their properties and get into conversations with people. I've owned this house for 30 years. The same tenant's been in there for 25, and their rent's been this for a long time, and it does what I needed to do. It allows them to stay in there, and this is why I do this. And it was some of my favorite conversations, whether I bought the house or not, because it was that
Mhm.
true heart of what you're actually doing and
Yes.
really on that community level, right? On social media and stuff, you don't see small town investors. You're not seeing the number one person. You're seeing huge markets. You're seeing LA, New York, Tampa down here, Florida's a popular one, Miami. You're seeing places where there's just millions of people and it's these huge markets and you're just, hustle, 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 do all this stuff where fine if that's what you want to do. That's okay. That's a big umbrella. You can do that, but that is not what most people are doing. Not at all.
No,
Most
no,
people
no.
are not full-time real estate investors. The amount that are do this as a business is so tiny. It's such a tiny niche of them. And they're some of my favorite people because what they can do, most people can't do. Can you revive a house from just bones and put a family in it? Nope. Most people can't do that. They can't go in there and solve these kind of problems.
Mhm.
And that's for kind of in that in between of what you see versus the reality of what's really happening. The the good ones get tossed out, right? Negative is what really gets amplified a lot lately. And there was even here in America, there was something said that they're going to keep institutional buyers out of the market. They're buying, and I was talking with a data provider last week on a show. In the quarter three of 2025, there were, I'm going to use even numbers to make it simple, 1 million houses sold in America, 50 or 4,400 of them or 4,600 of them were bought by the large buyers, and they sold 5,600 of them. So all in all, they divested more than they bought. They are not the biggest and most popular thing. It is the small investor. It is folks who have been doing this a long time. Their grandfather taught them how to invest. The old advice: buy the neighbor's house. Buy the neighbor as soon as you can. Buy the neighbor's house. When they want to move, buy that house and start there. So that now you're literally just expanding out from where you live, creating your empire, your little way that you're going to make sure you have the life you want. Your family has the life that you're hoping for. You leave the legacy behind that you want. It doesn't have to be some huge business. It doesn't have to be huge. And scale is the buzzword. That is for very few people. And that they most may not like to hear that, but the idea of scaling stuff, you need to be very intentional with that, because unless you want the problems that come with it, you may not want that. And that's what a lot of my friends went through, thought they wanted that big business only to realize I want to do 20 to 30 deals a year and not 100 deals a year and have way less overhead and way more of my life back and actually accomplish what I came into the industry for.
Mhm. Mhm. No, Mika, you're 100% right. The house across the street came for sale, and my mom was like, "Buy the house across the street. Buy the neighbor's house." And I should have, because it went for nothing, and now it's, like, up 200 grand. And that happens too. You miss opportunities. I missed an opportunity in 2013 in Barrie, Ontario, when Barrie was nothing. There was, like, it was a small town, small city, and I met a real estate agent. He said, "We got a condo development going up. They're going for like 50 grand." I was too young, Mika. I didn't know. I always say if I would have started in my early 20s, I'd be sitting with you in Florida. Um, but I didn't know. And that happens. We miss opportunities all the time. And you don't have to be at scale. That's a big problem right now that I find a lot of young people have, again, because I teach young people, is that everything's got to be big and lucrative and grandiose. No, that's not how most of life is happening. You can start small just as a small investment. And then if you don't like it, you can hold it or stop. Or you can keep going, whatever your comfort level is. Not everything needs to be this grandiose show. All of us have started small, and like you said, my grandparents did this on both sides. So I was kind of born into it, but I started on my own and then I grew a bit bigger and a bit bigger. And through my journeys, I have met people who were only in this to make money. And let me tell you, as you said, it's a very small percentage of people and none of them are doing it anymore. And if they are, it's very minute, or they have shifted into becoming an insurance broker or a mortgage broker or working in the industry in a way different capacity.
Right. And it's a real estate's a get rich slow scheme. If you will approach
Oh,
it that
very
way,
slow.
you will approach it that way and realize that I still want to if you buy that first one, I like the way you said that. You always reserve the right to change your mind. Never forget you always reserve the right to change your mind. So you buy that first property, sit with it for a little bit. Do you actually enjoy this? If you do the next one. And if it's still going, do the next one. I tend to
Mhm.
find an experience I saw the 2-year mark. If you will stay in real estate longer than 2 years,
Mhm.
you've got the itch. It's
Mhm.
got you. You're probably gonna stay in it for a long time, but those first 2 years are really where you kinda get baptized with fire of, "Do you really wanna do this?" And when you get through those, you can, "Yes, I do," or, "No, I don't," and just kinda pivot your own way. There's no right or wrong, and I think when folks can enter it that way without having that idea that if it's not huge, it's a failure, you're going to be successful. You're going to be way more successful because there's there's only I actually had this conversation earlier. Paint's been around for a long time, been able to be an artist for a long time, and only how many Da Vinci's have there been? Right? How many how
Yeah.
many Van Goghs have there been? Not many. That even though it's there, not many become that whole thing. But how many artists are actually out there? Millions. There's millions out there. So if you want to be Da Vinci, okay, go do what he did. It's not a mystery as to how to build big old things, but you got to go do all the things that build big old things. And what I remind people of, my favorite example is Amazon. Amazon only sold you books for 9 years. Only books for
Mhm.
9 years, and
Mhm.
now they can sell you everything. That was
Mhm.
not by accident. They
Mhm.
showed you, "I can deliver a book faster than anybody." And once you believe they'll deliver a book faster than anybody, well, now you'll deliver anything faster than anybody. But it took 9
That's
years
right.
to prove it, right? And it's you're getting into something that's gonna take a while. You're gonna feel like rushing. Entrepreneurs are already in a hurry. We like to be in a hurry for some weird reason, like,
Yes.
and there's 0 way to rush a real estate deal, just a heads up. I've tried all the ways. There are 0 ways to rush a real estate deal.
I know, me too.
And once you get that, I think you get a lot of your life back, especially after that 2-year mark where you start to realize, "Okay, I use a lot of energy just kinda blowing it out as steam for stuff that doesn't matter." But, okay, Natasha, I really, really enjoyed our conversation. We gotta wrap it up here.
It's my
For those
pleasure, actually.
Absolutely. For those that have been joining or listening along with us, if they're interested in learning more about you, finding out more about you, what's the best way for them to find you?
Yes, absolutely. So I am on social media and I have the same handle for all of it, all of my socials, and it's at NE Feghali, which is my last name, Feghali. And that's also my business name, which is Feghali Group Inc. And you can find me on socials under that title as well.
Excellent. Thank you for sharing. If you're watching and listening, you'll be able to find Natasha's info in the show notes. Reach out to her, follow along, see what she's got going on. Again, I appreciate you being here. I think we need more folks in the industry like yourself, giving it to people
Thank
straight,
you.
letting them know it's not anybody can do this. You can be successful, but there's a formula to it. I really
That's right.
appreciate that.
That's right.
If you've
Thank
gotten value
you
out
so
of
much.
this Absolutely. If you've gotten value out of this episode, please like this episode, share it to a friend you think could get something from it too. As always, please subscribe. We appreciate everybody that subscribes and follows along. We have more conversations coming up with operators just like Natasha, who are out there building a real business in real estate. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you on the next episode.
Thanks for joining us for today's Real Estate Pros Show. You can learn more about the amazing benefits of the Investor Fuel Mastermind community, including surrounding yourself with hundreds of other rock stars, 100% financing for your deals, and members-only discounts from vendors you're likely already using that, as a member of Investor Fuel, will save you more than the cost of your membership. Visit investorfuel.com to learn more. If you're interested in joining us as a guest of this show, please visit investorfuel.com/pros to apply. You can also check the show notes for access to free resources, how to get access to world-class lead generation, and much more. Don't forget to subscribe so you never miss another episode. Have a great day. We'll see you on the next show.